rich history and culture that also deserves attention. The Beyond the War series aims to showcase Yemen outside the context of war and center Yemeni voices. We hope to break stereotypes and build solidarity with Yemeni communities. Today we have Mokhtar Alkhanshali with us today to discuss Yemeni coffee. Mokhtar Alkhanshali is a Yemeni American historian, community organizer, and coffee innovator seeking to reverse Yemen's nearly lost art of coffee cultivation. He founded Port of Mokha, I'll put the link in the chat, an ethical coffee company. Combining his knowledge of specialty coffee production, progressive infrastructure strategy, and community organizing, Mokhtar has helped reverse the declining quality of Yemeni coffee and reestablish it as one of the industry's most treasured origins. For further information, please refer to his impressive bio.
And people can ask questions throughout. Please leave the chat for just chatting. There's a Q&A section if you have questions. Mokhtar will hopefully be able to log on soon and do his presentation. But for now, while we wait, I will play an interview that Vice did with him not too long ago. So I will share my screen. Give me 1 second. Okay, and there we go. Can everyone see this okay? Okay, I'm gonna mute myself and I will play the video.
Coffee in the world comes from Yemen and costs $16 a cup. And this premium roast importer is here to tell us why.
In sort of preparation for this, I asked all my friends, like, of the coffee that you drink, do you know anything about where it comes from? And people are like, no, I have no idea. I'm just really upset that my coffee costs $5.
We're disconnected where our products come from. And because of that disconnect, we don't know the realities, the labor reality, the political realities of how our things come. For me, it's about transparency and traceability. It's funny me saying this, but I didn't like coffee like 7 years ago.
That's so recent ago.
Yeah. Like
7 years?
And I drank it, and there was blueberries, there was honeysuckle, there was like this sweet, like lingering aftertaste. And I went to them, I'm like, what kind of flavor did you put in the coffee? He's like, oh no, this is just the way this is how coffee should be if you do it right. We buy this coffee directly from the community in Yirgacheffe, Ethiopia, and we were able to pay them more money for better quality coffee. I loved it. You know, so I just started looking up the history of coffee, and I'm like, wow, there is a city in Yemen, a port called Mocha. And it's where coffee was first commercialized. These Sufi monks who were the first to, really believe in the power of coffee. At that time, Yemen had a monopoly in coffee. It didn't want anyone to grow it, so they banned anyone from taking seeds out. Eventually, the Dutch, they were able to steal 7 seeds. They stole these seeds out of Yemen and took it to one of the colonies in Indonesia on the island of Java. And then after that, coffee makes its way into Europe, and I really believe that's what really enlightened or started the Enlightenment period. Industrial Revolution, coffee houses became this place where writers, politicians, philosophers, like the American, French, and the Russian revolutions happened in coffee houses.
Do you find Yemeni coffee anywhere?
No, I tried to look, and I went, I asked a bunch of, seasoned coffee buyers from different companies and importers, and like, oh, Yemen coffee. Yeah, man, it's hard to get, it's really expensive, there's a lot of issues with the traceability.
Why is it hard to get?
Because it's in a country that's, always there's some kind of violence, there's a language barrier, it's in these mountains so far away from the world. So that was, I knew, okay, if I'm gonna do something in this, I have to go to Yemen and be like where it starts and be there.
So you go to Yemen.
And at that point, my family is just, they're like, okay, it's not a phase anymore. He's actually doing this thing, and they're very concerned. On March 25th, 2015, I woke up in the morning and I heard, it was like 2 in the morning, I heard these like loud explosions.
Did you immediately think, I need to leave now?
By the morning, things got better. And I was okay, I gotta find my way out of this place now. So I had planned a coffee tasting for Yemen coffee. And my idea was that these farmers are gonna work and produce, and I'm gonna be able to sell their coffee there.
So everything is riding on this, like everything, all the work that you've done, the people that you've met, the farmers, it's like there's the people are on the line.
I ended up like going to the city. The trip didn't work out. I ended up being kidnapped there twice, and then through a series of angels and heroes and people in my life got me out. And we have this coffee event. It was super successful, and that was the most important moment because the work of the farmers, they put a lot of time into it and sweat and blood and to make that coffee taste that way. I mean, how refined that coffee tastes, how smooth from where it came from, and how it's an amazing journey, right? It crosses like borders and political hardships and all these things to make it, to our cup. Every coffee literally is picked by hand. Maybe 20 people have touched your coffee from farm to cup.
How do you say to someone, please spend $16 on this coffee?
This is arguably one of the most labor-intensive products we consume, from farm to cup to us. And so when you decide to be cheap on something, someone pays a consequence to that.
So what do you hope or wish that coffee could or would do for Yemen?
I think that coffee is a really incredible opportunity for consumers to have a real impact. I think as consumers, we need to be conscious consumers, to understand the food that goes into our stomach, clothes we wear, how was that brought to us?
So it seems Mokhtar is still having issues with Wi-Fi. It's actually kind of a crazy story. We were talking to him today. He had to reschedule multiple flights. He wasn't really allowed in. He had to go from the UAE to Sudan, then through Egypt. And he was driving from the airport in Aden to Sana'a this morning. So he's had quite a journey, and it's also unfortunate what the Wi-Fi situation is like right now in Yemen, but he's still doing amazing work. I'll link the Port of Mokha again, really ethical coffee. And if you want to hear more about his journey, there's a book written about him, The Monk of Mokha, and as well, we will try to reschedule this event, and hopefully then he'll have better Wi-Fi. Originally, he was supposed to be back from Yemen, but he's decided to stay for longer, which is, again, amazing work, because he's doing a lot of important work with coffee growers and making sure that we get ethical coffee and that Yemeni coffee is discussed more. So yeah, again, really sorry.
Yeah, thank you for everyone who tuned in. We're super excited about this. We will reschedule. It'll be our next event. Hopefully we can make it happen soon. If you RSVP'd on CODEPINK's website to this event, we will make sure to send you a new Zoom link with all the information. So everyone, oh, thank you. Everyone will make sure to get you a new Zoom link. And in the meantime, there are actions on codepink.org about Yemen right now. Let me find it really quick, and I will link it in the chat. If I can find them, 1 second. Because as a lot of you have probably heard, Joe Biden recently decided that he would end all offensive support for the war in Yemen, which is great. That is really good and welcome news, but we don't really know what that means yet. So we really need to figure out, what does offensive support mean? There's a letter that closes on Monday morning. So if you can fill this out today, it has a template. So you don't even have to write anything, you just fill it out. Write to your representative in Congress about the Kana DeFazio letter that includes a bunch of questions about what arms sales still exist, what we can expect in intelligence sharing and spare parts trading for the Saudi Air Force and that kind of thing. So I will put the link in the chat. If anyone, if you live in the US, you can write to your congressperson through this, and it makes it really easy. And that's how we plan on getting answers from the Biden administration on where the US still stands in this situation. Oh, thank you for all the nice comments, everyone. With that, we will make sure everyone who signed in today gets a new Zoom link with the rescheduled event. And thank you all for tuning in.